but there's some terrain that if somebody was on foot, they would have had to navigate like hills and a berm in that area.
And we also know the son was saying when he was talking with police that, hey, they went to an area that was a little bit of a hill,
right,
trying to find shape. From what you heard from the grandson, did that match the description of where we found Hope?
I can't state enough how much help we gained from that information provided by Hope's grandson. So he was able to provide location cues, right? Hills, a tree for shade, and those location cues were always kept in mind as searchers were conducting their operations. Hope was located near some brush, may have been perceived as a tree, and she was located on kind of a hillside or a ridge. And also to note that she was located in the general area where her son had led us to.
Was there anything nearby where you found her?
Just her and her dog. It's an undeveloped area west of Sienna Hills. There are some new builds that are going up on the western side of that community, but this was an undeveloped area.
So no gas stations, no homes that maybe she was trying to get to or anything like that?
So there's a community right there just east, but she wasn't necessarily close to homes when she was located.
Anything suspicious about this at this point? I know you said there's no sign of trauma, but is there anything they can
right.
do?
So investigators haven't found any evidence of foul play in this case. Again, the information with locating her really lined up with the information that Hope's son provided to us, and ultimately the Maricopa County Medical Examiner's Office is going to determine the cause of death.
Do we know how long from when the son left to when it was found at the gas station, right? It was found at the gas station, till how long she might have been deceased for?
So according to Hope's son, she passed away on May 22nd. That was the same day that they broke down that morning on the I-10. Hope's son made his way to the gas station on the 24th. What was going on in those 2 days, we don't know. But when we did have contact with him on the 24th, he was appeared to be dehydrated and definitely in medical distress.
The other aspect is, you guys were saying, so much search efforts were going into trying to find her. What was it? Someone on an ATV? Was it, the canines out there? What finally, who was kind of the person who found her and the deceased dog?
Well, every day that investigators had set out to search, it looks like a small desert area when you consider there's communities on the east and communities to the south. But once you actually get out there, the sheer amount of ground that you have to cover is intimidating. So that's a lot of work. And so ground crews with air support were able to cover as much ground as possible. And ultimately, it was Buckeye Police detectives that were out walking a search line this morning when they located the body.
Just to get a clarification on the timeline, so this happened where she was last seen with her son on May 22nd, and then he did not share the information with the family member until June 22nd, so a full month?
That's correct. That's correct. He was hospitalized for the better part of a month. He was discharged on or before June 22nd, and that's the same day he was able to provide that information to the family member.
Is it because he's, like we said, he has communication issues, or
yeah,
was he just afraid to talk?
I can't speculate on that, but I just know the information wasn't coming as clearly as we would have liked it to. The communication barrier was a huge challenge in this case. I think I've stated that a number of times now. That's why we enlisted the help of that forensic interviewer. We also had SVU detectives who were also guiding him along. We brought him out to the area 3 times to give us some idea of which way they went when they left the I-10, where do they go next. So we've had him out here with family members to help facilitate that communication. In the end, it worked out, and we're just really happy to resolve this situation so that the family can begin to grieve.
Do you know approximately the temperature that it was on May 22nd, and if investigators believe early in the investigation that it was related to heat?
I do not recall the temperature on May 22nd or June 22nd. But you touch on something very important, and that is that heat absolutely was another one of those challenges that our crews had. When crews set out every morning, they had to make sure they had their operations plan really buttoned up, because you have limited hours out there. Again, early in the morning, at some temperatures, the heat can start causing problems with some of our equipment even. The ground crews are just like you and I, and they're impacted by the heat. So we wanted to make sure that our crews are well hydrated and that they're not out there too long. But they were out there almost daily since that missing persons report came in.
Did the dog stay with Hope?
It appears so. It appears so.
I guess it's too early to tell, but you think they passed away at the same time? I guess that's going to determine an autopsy, or?
You know what? That's hard to tell. I don't know about the dog, but definitely the ME's office will be taking a closer look at Hope's body to gain more information.
And you did find her car, correct?
Yes. So her vehicle, as you may remember, was found around 11 a.m. on May 22nd, and it was towed away by DPS because it was parked in such a way in the median that it was posing a traffic hazard. So DPS did have it towed. And we were ultimately able to recover that vehicle from the tow yard.
Was there anything else close next to that area where the car broke down besides just like shade? Was there not like a residence they could go to or a community? Why that location, do you think?
You know, it's difficult to speculate why she headed north, why they headed north. But we know that it is consistent with the information that Hope's son was able to communicate to us.
Could it have been possible for DPS to pull the license plate of that car to maybe have located her more quickly? I know there wasn't a missing persons case filed yet.
Right, that's the thing, is there was no missing persons case on file. No one knew that Hope was missing at the time. As far as the DPS procedure when they come up on an abandoned vehicle, I don't have those answers for you, but my understanding is that it was parked in such a way that maybe it would have been impeding traffic, so they had to get it towed out.
Their vehicle broke down back in May. Any recommendations for the community out there what to do if this happens to someone else? What to have inside the vehicle, probably?
Right.
Really
well, what I can say is that we tell people all the time that if you're starting to feel like you're feeling the effects of heat illness or a heat emergency, do not hesitate to call 911. The fire department and the police department are ready and willing to respond to help you. Please don't wait until it's too late. Some folks don't exactly know their limits when they're out in the heat, so just make the call. We'll come out and we'll decide. We'll make sure that you're okay.
On that note, did she have a cell phone on her?
No.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, can you disclose, what did she have like a water bottle with her or anything like that you found on the person?
To my knowledge, I don't believe there was a water bottle, but she was there with her dog on a leash.
Did any family member know that Hope and her son and the dog were going out that day? Because after they find the son, did the family member say like, hey, where's Hope?
That's what happened, basically, is Hope's son was discharged from the hospital into the care of the family member, and the family member started asking, where's your mom? Where's Hope? And from there, that family member was able to gain enough information to call police and provide make a missing persons report.
Did he then ask during his hospital stay, or we don't know if there was any communication while he was in the hospital?
So my understanding is that there was some difficulty with communicating with the hospital staff. So they were experiencing possibly the same challenges that we were when we were trying to communicate with Hope's son. That's just my understanding of that. Also keep in mind there were a couple of factors in this case that made the investigation difficult. Hope did not have a permanent address. She didn't have a place to lay her head every night. And to our knowledge, she was not employed. So those are some factors where if somebody's missing for an extended amount of time, that's going to be reported by an employer or a neighbor who stops by the home. And so So without those two factors, plus we were a month behind by the time we received the report. So this was challenging, but with all the help that we received, we were able to provide this update today.
And it was the grandson, correct? Who relayed the information, is that what you said?
So the grandson was able to relay that information to the family member. The family member then called police. They were in touch with Phoenix Police, who contacted Buckeye Police when it was determined that this was her last known whereabouts. So from there, that same day, the Buckeye Police Department initiated its search.
I guess the next phase, you said, is just the autopsy. Is that kind of the next phase of this?
Yeah, so we're going to be waiting for results from the medical examiner's office.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.